Hello folks, I imagine one of the things that you're missing most about school at the minute is year group assembly. So I don't want to leave you broken-hearted and weeping. So just to make sure everybody's happy and fully fulfilled the whole way through lockdown, I'm going to put together some small, short year group assemblies based on the teachings of Jesus. These can double up a little bit for the future when you're doing exams in RE. Some of the material I'm covering will have that benefit too. But mainly it's to make sure that you don't miss year group assembly, because that would just be heartbreaking for everyone. First I'm going to focus on today is from Jesus, and all our way assemblies are going to be focused on the teachings of Jesus. And this one comes from the Sermon on the Mount. And Jesus says, when you pray, go into your room, close your door, pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Jesus was complaining about people who tried to look holy by going out into the streets and praying in public, which is something that would have happened in Jesus' world. He says, no, what you want to value is not what you can see, but what you can't see. Because at the end of the day, you're praying to a God who is unseen. And the God that you're praying to can see what you can't. Now, let's look at a little story that'll help us appreciate the importance of that. This is the Deepwater Horizon. Deepwater Horizon was a fantastic piece of engineering. It could drill well over 5,600 feet under the water and could drill through at least that amount in earth as well. It was a fantastic piece of engineering, a remarkable oil rig. There's been a film made about the Deepwater Horizon, so spoiler alert, some of you may know what's about to happen next. Because April the 20th, 2010, the Deepwater Horizon exploded. That earth that it was drilling through contained little pockets of gas and oil that could shoot back up through the drilling equipment, through the pipes in it. And it was highly flammable stuff. The slightest spark could set it off. What happened is the gas leaked back up through the Deepwater Horizon rig, came shooting up onto it, highly flammable explosive stuff, and there was a spark and it blew up. Engineers, crew members had to leap into the ocean. In several cases, they literally had to run and jump over flames. The flames basically shot up into jumped 60 feet into the water. The flames shot up so high they could be seen for miles and miles away. The Deepwater Horizon burned for 2 days. 30 miles away you could see those flames. The Deepwater Horizon, before it sank into the water, leaked millions of barrels of oil's worth into the ocean, creating a massive slick. 5 million barrels worth of oil, unchecked, out of that well into the ocean, creating an environmental disaster for years afterwards. Now, here's the incredible thing. Just before and even after that explosion, now it's one of the worst environmental disasters in history. It is one of the worst explosions ever to take place in an oil rig. But Transocean said that they had the best safety record that year in their company's history, and it was basically one of the best safety records of all time. So they were claiming, despite having blown up billions of dollars worth of equipment, having killed 11 people, having killed dear knows how many fish and seabirds, and creating a huge environmental disaster, that they had one of the best safety records of all time. What on earth was going through their heads? Transocean were absolutely obsessed with workplace health and safety. They were scared of workers suing them. A worker falls over and breaks an ankle. A worker falls over and cuts his head. He can sue. And so health and safety became paramount importance, and there was literally a rap they had to listen to every day to tell them to look out for different things around the rig. On the day that this oil rig blew up, there was an award given to a deckhand for spotting a rusty bolt. They were obsessed with what they could see and what they could understand. But underneath the ocean floor, things were happening that they could not see and that they could not understand. You couldn't send somebody 5,000 feet under the water to take a little check to see what was going on. Engineers who were running the drilling equipment continually told the guys in charge, look, we're getting some really weird readings. It was costing about $1 million a day to run this rig. BP, the guys in charge, they basically wanted things done as quickly and as efficiently as possible, and they kept pushing and they kept pushing until oil, little bits of flammable liquid, flammable gas started to leak its way into the pipes, began to force its way up and made its way up to the surface. All the safety features failed and it blew the rig out of the water. What they couldn't see was of no value to them. They were obsessed with what they could see. A guy on the rig who spills a bucket of water with his mop, that's something they can see, they can understand, that's something they can prevent. But what's going on down in the dark under the ocean surface, that's something they can't see, so they could forget about it. Well, what can we see? What can't we see? One of the things that we're absolutely obsessed with, guys, at school is what we can see, what we can measure, what we can count. The guys in charge of the Deepwater Horizon were obsessed with what they could count, with what they could measure. How many rusty bolts? How many spillages? How many accidents did we prevent today? They forgot about what they couldn't see under the surface. In school, you can find that we can become absolutely obsessed with what we can see in terms of results. And we go on about exams and exam results and counting and measuring. If you guys walk out of school thinking that your examination results measure what you are worth as a person, we will have failed you completely. Go back to the verse we talked about at the beginning. Pray to your Father who is unseen, and your Father who sees what is done in secret. The Jewish people knew that man looks on the outward appearance, God looks on what man looks on the outward appearance, God looks at the heart. In other words, people are focused on what they can see, but God looks at your heart, at what's unseen. That is what is of value. Your heart, your character, who you are. From the Christian point of view, this is the part of us that needs fixed, and we'll go on to talk about that. And then on the other side, your Father who is unseen. Jesus says, look out at nature. You can look at the surface of nature, and you can look at the lilies of the field. You can look at the birds of the air. They don't reap, sow, store away in barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Look at the lilies of the fields. Even Solomon in all his splendor wasn't dressed like they were. God takes care of the world around us. It looks designed, it looks cared for. Everything is under control. Are you not much more valuable than a sparrow? God knows if one falls out of the sky. Look at the world around you, says Jesus, and you can see that there's someone in charge, someone who cares, and that person cares for you. Look beyond what's right in front of your eyes. Stop focusing on what can be seen and think about what is unseen. Stop worrying about what a set of results says and worry about what your Father, who sees what is done in secret, sees. Look at your heart. Look at who you are. Know that God values you for who you are. And stop focusing on what can be seen.